Guys, it's Jared the Grappler back at it again for another video, and today I'm going to be talking about the weight bully dilemma, because it's a big problem that needs to be addressed. Okay, so being a weight bully is not illegal, but Joe Rogan likes to describe it as sanctioned cheating, right? And fighters who are good at it will use it to their advantage, and it's unfair because why don't they just fight at their natural weight class? So fighters like Khabib will walk around like 190 pounds, and they'll go out there and start cutting weight. They'll put on the trash bags and the sauna suits and go for their little jogs and do jumping jacks in the sauna and stuff like that. And they do it to dehydrate themselves as much as possible while also managing their diet so that they'll be as light as humanly possible come weigh-in day, so that instead of Khabib having to fight Max at like 170 pounds, he can make it all the way down to 155 because he's a little bit better at cutting weight than everyone else. And that's unfair. So he's a weight bully. But let's talk about unfairness. Look at Israel Adesanya, where all of his opponents want to go in there and recklessly lunge in, and he takes this more methodical approach. You know what I'm saying? Where he goes out there and he's patient. He'll jab you and throw a couple leg kicks, and he lets the other guys make mistakes first, instead of him just going out there and using the natural urge that we all have as fighters to go forward and get slumped with a counter. So he's a weight bully. Okay, unfair, which isn't nearly as unfair as Yoel Romero, who just so happens to be stronger, faster, more durable, more powerful than all of his opponents. Okay, and I think it's unfair because he relies on unfair physical advantages that not everybody has. They don't hit as hard as him. They're not as fast as him. They're not as durable as him. So how is it fair that other people that just aren't as athletic as others get to go out there and compete against guys like Yoel Romero? All right? He's a trait bully. And last but not least, my guy, look at John Jones, the greatest fighter of all time, arguably. And he watched film to study his opponent's weaknesses throughout his entire career, and then he game plans accordingly. And it's unfair because not everybody has the eyes to just look at tape and be all like, oh, this guy drops his hands whenever you throw the right cross, so I need to use that in the fight. John Jones has that ability to watch the tape and game plan accordingly. And not everyone has that, so it's unfair. He's a tape bully. Obviously, that's all ridiculous because you're allowed to use your advantages. It's not unfair at all. We're talking about sports. The stronger person in a weightlifting competition, is it technically fair that they happen to have the genes that make them a little stronger or whatever? No, but lifting weights is part of the sports. The stronger man wins, right? When it comes to MMA, because there are weight classes, some people are going to be genetically more capable of losing lots of weight, and that might be an advantage, but that has become part of the sport. And the only way around it would be to remove weight classes altogether, in which case you'd end up with it being like sumo, where the heavier guy usually wins. So no matter how you slice it, if there are weight classes, people will do what they can do in order to have the advantages that the sport allows. And if there aren't, the same principle applies. There's no way around it. It's not unfair to use your advantages. So people will say, well, I think fighters should just fight at their natural weight. You know what I mean? Like, it's unfair. You shouldn't be able to walk around 190, 200 pounds and fight at 155. If frickin' Porky Pimblett over here was fighting I weigh 200 pounds, let me cut to the next weight class down, he'd be fighting at like 185. Do you really want to see Paddy Pimblett versus Dricus du Plessis? No, you don't. Because it's obvious that given his ability level, he should be a lightweight, okay? It has nothing to do with, oh, well, he walks around at this amount of weight, so let's have him fight at the next weight class down. That's not what your natural weight class is. Your natural weight class is whichever weight you have the most success, all right? And consider the double champs. Every single one of these people has started at the lighter weight class and moved up, okay? There have been people like TJ Dillashaw. There have been people like Jose Aldo that have been champions at a heavier weight class and decided to say, what if I just cut a little bit more weight? Maybe I could have some success there. The closest to that between the two There might have even been more examples, but the closest to that between the two was Jose Aldo, and he wasn't winning fights by just out muscling everybody. He had just like so many fights and so much experience from being, one of the youngest champions ever. It was an experience, a skill thing that allowed him to contend with those guys, not that he was bigger. Okay? So when people are talking about, oh, he's a weight bully. He's a weight bully, guys. Khabib cuts from 190. So clearly he's a weight bully over Dustin Poirier, who cuts from 190. It's kind of ridiculous. All right? But regardless, this is neither here nor there, because I feel like this whole thing could just be avoided with, well, is it an advantage? Is it a disadvantage? Just let fighters fight at whichever weight gives them the most success. Look at Anthony Rumble Johnson. If being a weight bully was the be-all, end-all, then he should be undefeated at 170 and 185 because he was huge. He was really a heavyweight, you know what I mean? And he ended up having fights at heavyweight later on in his career. But he just kept getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And the bigger it got, it seemed like he kept having more and more success. And the reason why is because there's diminishing returns. Yes, for some people. Oh, it turns out I was just fighting in the wrong weight class. But I'm Joaquin Buckley. I decided to cut a little bit, couple more pounds, make it 170, and now I'm winning fights. That's fine and dandy, because that works for Joaquin Buckley. But then there's Anthony Rumble Johnson going out there, 170 pounds, not for me. I'll try 185. Oh, somehow I even do worse at 185. I'll try 205. Oh, now I'm knocking everybody out. Are you seeing what I'm saying? Are you picking up what I'm putting down? Everybody just genetically, some of it has to do with genetic factors and how maybe their brain can behave while they're dehydrated, or their muscles can contract when they don't have a lot of water in them, or just a mentality thing, or whatever it is. There's genetic factors. There's also that some people are simply going to be good at monitoring their nutrition and hydration, and other people are not going to be good at it. So just because they step on the scale doesn't inherently give them advantage. These athletes, and I want to say athletes and not fighter, because athlete shows that it's scientific. Athlete shows that they are going to be doing whatever they can do to have the biggest advantage in the sport. As an athlete, they're going to be trying to monitor their hydration, their nutrition, and their skills to make sure that they are putting out the best quality performance that they can. So allow these fighters to all do that. Don't say, oh, well, he's doing a little too much. He's too good, so he's a bully. Doesn't make any sense. I don't get it. How are you going to fault someone for making a decision that won them the fight that the other guy, per your own admission, by saying one person's a weight bully and one person's not, didn't do? Oh, he's a head movement bully because he can't hit him. Oh, he's a strength and conditioning bully because he's too strong. It's ridiculous. KISS principle. Keep it simple, stupid. Before people start going out there and talking about, oh, we need same-day hydration tests, and when USADA comes by to do the drug testing, we gotta have them bring a scale. They gotta step on the scale when USADA comes, and they shouldn't be allowed to fight any less than a certain amount of weight away from this because to keep it fair. No! Whatever your solution is for weight bullies or whatever would go away if you just simply reframed your way of thinking and you thought, fight at whichever weight you can have the most success. If you cut too much weight, you'll start to lose. If you don't cut enough weight, you'll start to lose. But you're an athlete. It's up for you to figure out the best division for you to fight in. Okay? This has been Jared the Grappler. I'm out. Thank you.